Zero Authority is a community of people who believe in open source and permissionless systems. Thanks for supporting the community. Remember why you started.
We believe in this opportunity to work in Web3, and people coming in will be a massive shift.
There's a lot of opportunities that are for naught, they're lost, and their people's skills and their what they're really capable of doing is not able to be shined through right now.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is Zero Authority Live, and man, do we have a great conversation today. Zero Authority is a community of people who believe in open source and permissionless systems. Today, we're talking to Bitcoin Apostle. I've been following Bitcoin Apostle for a long time now. All of his writings are really cool, really interesting, really insightful. So glad to finally have him on Zero Authority Live. And he's a father, writer, Bitcoin consultant. He writes for Bitcoin Magazine as a contributor sometimes. He has a blog, and it's bitcoin.21milbtc.blog. And we're going to get into some fun topics today. We're going to talk about everything Bitcoin. We're going to talk about ordinals. We're going to talk about why he believes in Bitcoin. If there's time, we're going to talk about presidential election in Bitcoin. And we're going to talk about why Bitcoin is a hope for the future. Before we get into all of those cool topics and all of those interesting insights, Hodl Stacks, Bitcoin Apostle, how are you guys on this lovely Friday?
Doing excellent.
Yeah, doing great. Happy to be here with Apostle. I've followed you for a long time as well.
Bitcoin Apostle, you are a Bitcoiner at heart. You write on Bitcoin. It is so fantastic to finally have you on here. Let's just jump right into it. And if you want more information, you could find Bitcoin Apostle on Twitter. See some of his writings on the bitcoinapostle.com, and check out his blog. He has some really phenomenal content, really insightful works there that I know I've been reading, and it's been really insightful for me. And tell us a bit about your background. Tell us why you believe in Bitcoin.
Wow, that's a loaded question. The reason why I believe in Bitcoin, as a father, I'm worried about my kids' future, and I want to make sure I leave something for my kids that have a a future that they can grow, thrive. Something that we have grown up with, safety, money that you can believe in. Sorry. Like I said, it's my first time.
So by the way, for the whole audience here, and if you have any questions in the chat, just drop them in while we're on the live here. So Bitcoin Apostle, this is your very first live stream here, right?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
Hey, just think of it as a Zoom conversation, and you're talking to some buddies.
For sure.
Yeah. We believe in Bitcoin, or I know why I do. It's really about making sure we have a future we can be proud of our kids and our grandkids, and we have this technology unlocked, and we don't have to have all of these centralized controls, and we can really have freedom over our money, and that means freedom over your time. Everybody has to work so hard, money to get. And really, your time is the only thing that you have in this world. So, Bitcoin's the big unlock there.
There's a lot of feedback on LinkedIn. It's hard to hear what you're saying. Just to give you a heads up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hodl, you have some feedback there. It's a little hard to hear you. I don't know, maybe switch over to a mic or a different audio source. So Bitcoin Apostle, I also share similarities with you. I have a daughter, and we both have kids, and we both think about the future and what kind of world they're going to be headed into. And I mean, it's so obvious to you, to me, to many people in the Bitcoin ecosystem, whether you participate in stacks, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Web3, it's so clear and obvious where the world is going. But for those who are new into Bitcoin and crypto, do you have any advice for them and how to think about Bitcoin or Web3 and how to just start to get involved at all?
I would slow. My journey into Bitcoin started in 2020 around the pandemic, being locked out. I found it through Twitter and found a lot of resources there. I highly suggest Bitcoin Twitter and just reaching out to people that you can trust on the platform that are knowledgeable. It's day by day, you're not going to do all this stuff in a week. It took me a good year, 2, 3 years to wrap my head around. And it's a complicated topic. It applies to so many fields, economics, politics, politics. It encompasses like everything. So just be patient and just just find good sources online. And those are relatively easy to find if you know what you're looking for.
Huddle Stacks, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know better. But...
Does that sound better on your end, Bitcoin Apostle?
Slightly.
Okay.
Okay. If anything, I can go to the phone. Maybe that'll be better. The old MacBook is not as reliable as it should be.
You had an interesting tweet that I saw, and one thing about, and we're going to talk about ordinals too at some point in this conversation, but you had an interesting tweet and you said, let's talk about UTXO. The way the Bitcoin protocol is designed, the more I learn about it, the more impressed I really am every time I learn, because ordinals was the first time I learned about like rare Satoshis and how you could actually, because so Megapont, they created their ordinal collection and it was the Megapunks. So one of the first 10,000 collection on the ordinal protocol. And so I definitely scooped up some of those. We all love Megapunk. We love a lot of the NFTs and the stacks and ordinals ecosystem. And I was really lucky to get one of those ordinals that were minted on one of the rare Satoshis back from, I think it was back from 2009. But this yeah. So some people have ordinals that were minted on Satoshis, which is the smallest unit of a Bitcoin that you can get, and it was like, it started to bring up like nostalgia, and people were thinking, wow, so this kind of opened a whole new area of like Bitcoin that's been like, it was completely like no one had even thought about this at all for the last 10 years, like these rare Satoshis that are tracked, and you're able to track it on the Bitcoin network. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. After learning about ordinals, I really start to deep dive into what is UTXO and why it matters and how Bitcoin works even deeper at a deeper level. But what made you tweet that? Let's talk about UTXO.
I saw a tweet by Swan Bitcoin, I believe, and he was talking about UTXO management, and I'm like, that's something that I really thought about lately. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when you DCA into Bitcoin, this is where I'm coming from. You're buying $5, $10, and $15 transactions. You're generating UTXO, and nobody's talking about when Bitcoin goes 100,000, 200,000, million. All that's going to be dust. Like you're not going to be able to spend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? UTXO management isn't talked about nearly enough anywhere, in the space, even, big magazine, blah, 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 blah. It's just really not mentioned. I think it's an important topic that people need to be aware of, especially when they're stacking, stacking.
No, that's a great point. And so when you kind of just saw that, and then you started to think like, this could be important in the future. Does it translate to ordinals, or does it translate to I just want to get more educated about like how the Bitcoin protocol works from the highest level to the lowest technical detail?
Yeah, I would say ordinals because you gotta, because you're tracking these rare satoshis,
Mm-hmm.
and they're being traded, back and forth with various parties. Like, sorry,
It's okay.
yeah, UTXO is not my strong suit when it comes to talking about it.
There was a tweet you had, and I thought this was pretty interesting. And you were asking, hey, are there any Stacks content creators on Nostra? So I Huddle Stacks and we talked to our partners Benet and Shashil, and I know Benet was working on Stacks integration with Nostr, and I'm not sure exactly what he's doing. But did you find any content creators on Nostr, by the way?
I did not. It's all Bitcoiners, which, I'm totally fine with, but I feel like Stacks is very underappreciated. It's going to be something spectacularly huge. And I just, it's kind of sad that I'm surprised they haven't made that jump to Nostr, considering, what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's where they at. I'm just curious. I wonder why Munib and Trevor are not over.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Huddle, are you on Nostr, by the way? I can't hear you now. Maybe you'll come back on the mic here.
Are you on Nostr?
I am. I don't use it though, but I need to start using it more. I signed up when I met up with our partner Benet recently, and he was saying, "Man, you gotta join." And I know a lot of Bitcoiners are on here. They kind of have migrated from Twitter. I've heard it's kind of an echo chamber at sometimes.
It is. That's why we need more voices. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta bring everybody into this intent and leave. I think we need to leave Twitter behind. I'm tired of the play BS that Elon's doing. And I think it's just healing our reach, the message, get it out unless hey, I like the organic nature of Nostr.
Yeah.
Remind me of Twitter, before, like early Twitter.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Early Twitter. It that's also an interesting point too, Bitcoin Apostle. I hope to see, and I don't know why this hangup exists, but I hope to see more decentralized protocols for social media over the next 5 years, because and this is why we had started building the Cerulean marketplace for us, because a lot of these Web2 platforms, they own all of your data. Anything you post, they own your data. So when we created the Cerulean marketplace, where you could find people to work in a peer-to-peer market and find that person. So it's almost like a Fiverr meets Upwork meets LinkedIn, where you can over time start to work with these people, and we're actually on testnet now, where you could find people and work together. But like I agree with what you're saying, because like social media and these Web3 apps, it's going to happen at some point, but we need to. I would love to see it get there sooner than later, where we're using these applications, and we can see, like for example, in what we're trying to do at Zero Authority, you can make an offer to work with someone, and that you're going to own that work history in your wallet. You're going to own the reputation that you create on chain. So that's what we're trying to create, and that's where we hope the world goes to more and more over time.
I think it will. I mean, slowly but surely, as our generation, keeps migrating to Web3, I think it's definitely the future. Just needs to be user friendly. It's super easy to use. And
Yeah,
still got some work to do on that, but I think it's coming.
I think so too. I definitely think so. Huddle Stacks, are you back? I can't hear you. I could see it moving, but I can't hear you.
I'm hearing nothing.
Do you hear anything, Bitcoin Apostle?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Hey, why don't we move on to ordinals? Have you been just blown away with how fast and far ordinals have come?
Yes, in a very short amount of time, and it's really blown up. And I think it's a great thing, because the more applications, more use cases you can build on Bitcoin, the better it is for Bitcoin. 100%. You know what I mean?
Totally.
What's striking though is the divide between like Bitcoin maxis, hardcore maximalists, and the ordinal camp. You can see it on Twitter. It's very significant, and I think that's unfortunate, because we're all working towards it. And I did write an article on Bitcoin magazine about that.
What are your thoughts on the how important ordinals will become over time?
I think it's going to be important, because there's a lot of things you can do with, like data storage, contracts, maybe even get into like residential.
Yeah.
There's various applications you can use with ordinals. I just think it's untapped idea, market. I think as you people think through it, you can basically apply it to anything.
Yeah. One of the things that I think became apparent when I started learning about ordinals and IPSF IPSF on Ethereum. So Bitcoin versus Ethereum. One thing I don't think people realize is ordinals, you actually have the images on chain.
Yep.
Ethereum and other chains, you're referencing this image, which the image could be changed, right? That's one of the key differences that has made it's really been making me think. I could see a world where the ordinal protocol could be where you put your birth certificate in your wallet, or you put your home deed on the ordinal protocol, because that's going to live forever and ever and ever. And it's something that I didn't really think about until I learned about ordinals.
No, I agree with you. I mean, it can be used for data storage, all kinds of documents. Last will and testament. So I 100% agree.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite ordinals that you like, or is it just you collect whenever you can, and you're just impressed by how far it's come?
Honestly, I haven't collected any ordinals. I'm more just an observer of the space right now. Just trying to learn more about it. On ordinals front, I'm not too involved right now. But I have been trying a couple of blog posts just to try it out and test it out.
Oh, cool. What if you were to do something with those, what could that look like eventually? Maybe you do something for your community, for the Bitcoin Apostle community with your ordinals, or you mint some ordinals and for your fans you let them mint some or something like that. By the way, where did you mint them?
Gamma?
Gamma.
Gamma.
Yeah.
Because my blog is hosted on Sigil or
Sigil. Okay.
Yeah. And they have ordinals. You get ordinals options where you can inscribe blog posts on Bitcoin, which I think is pretty neat.
That is. Do they call it the news? Is it news something IO or what?
To get to their website?
On Sigil when they're inscribing the ordinal?
I'll
have to look for you on Sigil.
Yeah. Are you on there?
I am. I don't write much. So Jack Ben Switch, one of our favorite writers, is on there, and we love all of his writings, and we follow him. I always follow him to stay up to date. So our friends at Gamma too. So Gamma, Sigil, we know them very well. They're building.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes, because they were early in the Stacks ecosystem, and since ordinals have come online, and Bitcoin, there are some protocols that have allowed Bitcoin to be integrated easier. And I don't know, are you familiar with the way Stacks works, the way we mine blocks?
Well, you gotta have Bitcoin.
Correct.
To to mine the Stacks block from what I understand. I mean, I don't understand it all in technical sense, like
No. That's all I was going to say. You to mine a Stacks blocks, you have to send in your Bitcoin. So there's huge Bitcoin miners that also mine Stacks blocks to make profits. And so when you're stacking or staking your STX, so the same way you could stake your Ethereum to earn more Ethereum, you stake your STX to earn Bitcoin in your wallet.
Yep.
And it pays you directly to your wallet. And it's just magic, man.
I use X first, so I'm all on board with that.
Very cool, man. So you're fully ingrained in the Stacks and ecosystem. I love that.
I mean, Stacks. I mean, it's freaking huge, man. Like once you start using it and just thinking all the, using it for writing, stacking, you can get Bitcoin. I mean, I even used it for
Arcadico. Have you used Alex?
Yes, I have. I used both. I took out a loan on Arcadico just to give it a try, and freaking work, man. I mean, it's legit. Like Stacks is awesome. I think these are type of services people are going to want to use in the future for sure.
Yeah, for us, for HODL Stacks and everyone at the Zero Authority community, we see that the future is going to be built on Bitcoin. And it's so cool for us. We've been in this. I've been around since it was called Blockstack back in 2019, and there were Munib, the founder, and I know Trevor was early too, and Kyle, and some people in the Bitcoin Frontier Venture Fund. But there's Brittany and a whole host of people. They would have Bitcoin, it was like Blockstack summits with like a Balaji and a Naval, and that's where I started to learn about, if Stacks comes to fruition and it ends up being like the Ethereum on top of Bitcoin, that's gonna be huge for a lot of people. And it's like, absolutely. Why wouldn't you want to do more with your Bitcoin?
Then just hold it. You know what I mean?
And I always go back to the fact, Bitcoin Apostle, that I still believe the original intent with Satoshi, he said this is a peer-to-peer network for financial transactions. I still believe in the future we're going to be paying in Bitcoin with to buy stuff, even to buy your cars, to pay for groceries. I believe there's going to be a world, and people are going to use Ethereum. People
Yep.
are going to use Chainlink. People are going to use Web3, but people will use Bitcoin to pay for stuff. So really cool to see you using Alex, Arcadico, Seigel, and Gamma. Really, really love that.
I mean, I'm full in, man. 100%.
Are there any other protocols on Stacks or Bitcoin that you use?
Lightning, obviously.
Lightning, yeah.
That's probably about it.
On Seigel, are you called Bitcoin Apostle?
Yes.
Is that together?
Space.
Okay. We're going to have to find that, tweet it out, because we're going to have to find you on there. Do you know your link to your blog?
Well, yeah. The blog, Bitcoin 21 million blog.
No, your Seigel blog.
Oh, the Seigel one? Because essentially the same thing. They just built the Bitcoin.blog is basically the same thing.
Okay.
So you know what I mean?
Yep. We'll have to find you here later and see if we can. We'll have to tweet that out.
Can I post it in the chat?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Let's see.
And Huddle Stack, sorry you don't have any audio, man. Just one of those days. Okay, here it is. Yep, I got that. I got that here. Let me pull it on screen so folks can find you. That's awesome. That's so cool. And Seigel too, at some point they're going to implement a way to earn Bitcoin for all of the stories you're sharing. So similar to like what is it, I forget the newsletter, what is it called? Substack.
Oh yeah.
It'll be like a Substack with a subscription, but you're earning Bitcoin. That's going to be so cool to see when people are.
I love that. Like in all my posts, I have like a Bitcoin address or Stack address. I've actually started using QR codes. I did it on this last article right here.
Oh, that's really cool. Really cool to see that. Hey, let's switch gears here, and I know we're going to be running out of time soon, but your blog, Bitcoin 21 mil BTC blog, man, I love the stuff you've been writing about, and I really love the passion that you have. Talk about how you got started writing, and tell us and tell us and the audience, like, what do you hope to achieve by just sharing this knowledge?
Well, I started this blog because I feel like Bitcoin's still a very unknown commodity, idea. And I was trying to break it down and start making content that people can understand in easy, digestible language. So, I try to write how I talk very plainly and easy to understand. And I'm just trying to share that Bitcoin is the answer to our problems. People just don't understand it yet because there's so much propaganda and this stuff you see on TV, they believe it. So I'm trying to cut through the BS and just show the light of Bitcoin, and that's the ultimate goal of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. One of your Bitcoin magazine articles I read recently, and I've been thinking a lot about that. What are your thoughts on the presidential election and Bitcoin in the U.S.? I mean, you wrote a really great blog post here, and it was really insightful about the upcoming election and how to think about how Bitcoin can shape the world?
Well, I think Bitcoin is becoming a bigger issue, especially in this 2024 election. You got RFK talking about it, Vivek Ramaswamy, Mayor Suarez down in Miami. They're openly courting Bitcoin voters, and I think they sense that we're in trouble. I mean, we're $32 billion in debt, and it's not going to get any better. I mean, it's projected to be over 50 million by the end of this, by 2030. And so, how we fix our economy, how we save entitlement, you're going to need something like Bitcoin. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. So I think Bitcoin's coming up as a solution as these politicians start to understand the gravity of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that spot on, Bitcoin Apostle.
But I really don't want to see Trump or Biden. We need to what ultimately. And I would love RFK or Swami, RFK. I don't know if I said that. But there's somebody new with new perspectives about the world, how it's supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that.
I think we share that same feeling where someone says, "Well, who you're voting for?" And it's like, I'm tired of the choices that we have.
Yeah.
I want to see someone definitely younger.
Yes.
I mean, it does. I'm not talking 35. I'm saying probably 40, 50, even 60, maybe.
Yeah, just something. These 78, 80-year-old people, I'm like, why? They don't understand what the world is like. Like so sick of it. It's infuriating.
Yeah, so the people, I know there's a lot of talk about RFK Jr. and if he truly believes in it and it's not just a marketing speech to attract young voters, that really resonates with me. I do believe that the world can be built upon it doesn't have to be a debt-based system. And there's some really cool talks, and I've listened to some podcasts recently about how do you go from a debt-based system to one where people actually have credit and people spend their money. So it's kind of fascinating because, like you said early in the conversation, one thing when you start learning about Bitcoin, it's the Trojan horse to learn about macro finance, banking, the Federal Reserve, world economics, and how credit and debits work on a balance sheet. And then you start to learn, wow, so the only people who can get credit are people who can have a bank account, which is a finite number of people around the globe. And if you think about how many people are unbanked, they've been talking about unbanked people since the beginning of time, and now we truly have a system that you can spend the money that you actually own. It's not just digits on a ledger on a phone app or on a website. Like it's actually you own that. That's powerful.
Yeah, it's so paradigm. It's a paradigm shift, and it just this hasn't happened yet. You know what I'm saying? And so I think education is very crucial to making that paradigm finally click into place. It's gonna take a while. I'm gonna take that, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. Like Huddle Stacks, can you finally say something? Let's see if you could. If I can hear you. No. Your mic is muted. I don't know. Maybe you threw up your hands and said it's just not your day.
My first live stream here. Come on.
I know Huddle pretty well, and I bet I'm gonna call him after, and he's gonna say, "Oh man, that sucked. I had so many good questions for Bitcoin Apostle and all the writings that he's been doing. So that's a bummer to see that, James. So, but don't worry, rest assured. I'm gonna I'm gonna ask and drop if you drop it in the chat, we can see it here. I know we're running short on time here. We're gonna wrap soon. Before we do, you have a really great article. Bitcoin is the hope for the future. We touched on this about our kids and about the future, about debt based systems. Just give us your overall take on what do you mean Bitcoin is hope for the future? What does that mean?
Uh, to me, Bitcoin. I mean, this article in general. What I was getting at is, we don't have to be blackpilled anymore. As I I wrote in the article, without Bitcoin, millennials like me, like you, we're screwed. I mean, Social Security, Medicare, inflation. These are all things that are impacting us directly. We're not getting into them at all. Like, I don't see why people think they are. And just the fact that we've been through 9/11, wars, 2008, the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what's there to be hopeful for? And now that we have Bitcoin, there's hope. You can actually put your labor and your energy into something that will last forever. In that you can work, save in Bitcoin, build yourself up, build your finances up, be able to retire, be able to take care of your kids, be able to have a life. And so that's what I was trying to get at. Was, you don't have to think, you don't have to be negative anymore. You can actually, have a vision for your own future, your family.
No, that's a great point. Something you said too really resonated with me. After college and in the late 2000s, I started to get really into stocks and trading and learning about finance and that was coming after the great financial crisis. So at the time, the only thing you could do is like learn stocks or forex trading, right? If you wanted to just learn about economics and then learn about trading and then kind of fast forward into the 2017 bull run, 2018. I really truly feel, Bitcoin Apostle, that Bitcoin and crypto gave our generation a new hope and something to look forward to. I, I I vividly remember the financial crash and just how bleak the outlook was.
Yep.
It was just like, hey, the world is ending, the banks are ending, everything is pretty much screwed. We're all screwed. But like, even though the pandemic happened, if there wasn't Bitcoin and crypto, I truly feel it would have felt darker times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the only thing you would have had is like TradFi, traditional finance, and the system is rigged.
Yes. So I mean, I'm so grateful for Satoshi and Bitcoin. I'm just in crypto in general. I'm optimistic about the future now.
Yeah. I really hear you. I really love this article you wrote, and we're going to drop it in a link to Bitcoin is Hope for the Future. Really well written, really well said. I love the image that you put there too. Is this, by the way, is this one of the ordinals you created on Seigel?
I don't think so. I think it was another article. I was going to, but I didn't get around to it.
Okay, yeah.
I should.
You got to, man. This one is good. This one is really good. I have a couple of images I created with generative art. If I'll have to send you some if you want to have it. You could use it. It's yours.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Yeah, would love to see that as an ordinal. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, man. So let's kind of talk about. I know we're gonna run out of time here. What, as far as where people can find you, is the best place to find you is on Twitter?
Yes. Twitter and Monster. I can post my PUBG. Actually, it's on mobile. Not have to do it later, but
Okay.
yeah, Monster, Twitter, and my blog. Those are my main spots where I'm at.
Okay, great. And what does the future hold for you, Bitcoin Apostle? I know you're doing a lot of things. I know you have a lot of things you want to achieve too.
I just want to spread the message. Try to focus locally on bringing the Bitcoin to like businesses. I think to drive adoption, businesses should start accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if businesses accept, you got to do commerce. You can't just do all online type stuff. I want to spend it in person, the local grocery store, or farmers market, whatever. And my goal is for the rest of 23 and 24 is to spur some local adoption. So I'm on the orange. I don't know if I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to link up with local Bitcoiners and spread local adoption.
And for those who aren't aware, how do you use the Orange Pill app and what is it?
Basically, I was kind of like Facebook for Bitcoiners, I guess you want to call it. Basically, how it works is the app knows who's in your general area, who's a Bitcoiner. I mean, you don't have to share your it's not your location, not like exact location, but if you're on the app, it'll say, oh, this person's 5 miles away. You can message them and start a dialogue and look up, in your local community.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. That just creating these networks, and eventually with Stacks now, it can exist on Bitcoin as a network.
Exactly. You didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Orange Pill is legit. I've used it. I don't know if you know John Gordon. He worked with what's that healthcare crowd health. He came down and we linked up on Orange Pill, and we met up, had a great conversation. So recommend any Bitcoiner to get on.
That's awesome. Yeah, I need to use it more. I haven't used the app a lot. Which part of the world do you live in, Bitcoin Apostle? Is it East Coast, West Coast, in a different country?
Southwest. I'm in Arizona.
Okay. I'm here near Portland, Oregon, and I know Hodl Stacks is near Washington D.C. So, really cool to hear you're out here and helping more people in your neighborhood learn about Bitcoin. What do you think when people? What do you think the biggest hurdle is to buy Bitcoin at this point? Is it still like the on ramps that need to get better and how to manage wallets?
I would say it's more education, like just even understanding what Bitcoin is. I mean, I can talk to 100 people, maybe one person even heard of it. You know what I'm saying? Like just getting that awareness of what Bitcoin is, how it functions. I think well down education. Honestly, like on ramps, I think they're easy enough. I mean, I learned it. It's not hard, but you gotta have a grasp of Bitcoin before you go out and want to buy it.
Mm-hmm. So true. With that being said, man, this was an absolute blast, and I hope we can have you back on Zero Authority live at some point in the future, and definitely we'll follow you on Seigel, we'll follow you on Twitter, and stay up to the latest and greatest, and hopefully we'll find you on Noster too, and we'll share your pub key there too. So this has been really awesome, man. And hey, for your first live stream, It went really well, man.
Did it?
Really well.
I feel like I kind of froze at a couple points, especially the ordinal stuff. I'm like, I don't know. Like I said, it's not my strong suit. So, no, it's been a lot of fun. I actually like it.
Hey, so let me ask you this, Bitcoin Apostle. Would you come back on the 030 live?
Absolutely. You guys did great. Even with the mishap with the data.
Even though with Huddle Stacks not being able to talk, it went great.
Yeah, it was perfect. Love it.
Hey, do you ever find yourself in Miami for the Bitcoin conferences, by the way?
I was gonna go this year, but my kids, they play softball and schedules and all that, so I didn't make it out this year. And hopefully next year in Nashville, I'm gonna try to make it out there. You guys in?
We keep talking about going and also making it to the Bitcoin Summit that Stacks puts on during the Miami showcase. We haven't made it yet, but at some point we're gonna be down there, and I would love. We're actually gonna have for our mainnet launch. We're gonna just do like a probably like just a zero authority live mainnet launch, and we would love to have you come back on and tell us like how Bitcoin has changed your life or why you think it's important. And in Miami, when we get down there, if you're down there, we would love to see you in person and just grab some good time together, man.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. I'm up for it.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Bitcoin Apostle. Thanks so much, friend. We really appreciate your time today and getting to know you and having you on and all the good message and positivity you're sharing in Web3 and Bitcoin and crypto, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Very well done. I'm loving the whole platform you guys got going on here. Doing great. I'd love to come back on.
I appreciate that, man. You have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk another time soon.
Yeah, for sure. Take care.
Take care.
Zero Authority is a community of people who believe in open source and permissionless systems. Thanks for supporting the community. Remember why you started.